Okay, my absent friends. This problem is on page 150 in our textbook, and I sent in an email the PDF page for 150 so you can follow along. And we are now using all the skills that we learned for adding and subtracting fraction or mixed numbers with unlike denominators and regrouping. We're putting it all together with our word problems. So the first two are fairly simple, and then it's going to get a little bit more complicated. So let's take a look at number one. Jerry pours 12 quarts of spring water equally among 5 bottles. How much water is in each bottle? This one we can actually do without any bar model. So just picture that Jerry has 12 quarts of spring water. So I'll just pretend this is a huge quart. It's 12 quarts of spring water. And he wants to pour them basically among 5 bottles. So we have 5 bottles, 2, 3, 4, 5. How much water is in each bottle? Well, you would have 12 quarts divided by 5 bottles equals 12 divided by 5. That's what that improper fraction is going to look like here. And we're going to put the 12 in the division hut. How many 5s are in 12? 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract. The answer is going to be 2 and 2/5. So if you start out with a 12-quart bottle of spring water, you're going to divide that equally among 5 smaller bottles. How much is in each bottle? And the answer is 2 and 2/5 quarts of water in each bottle. The next problem can be found on page 151, and this is a relatively straightforward problem, not too hard. So Lisa has 1 2/9 pounds of peaches. She buys another 2 1/6 pounds of peaches. How many pounds of peaches does Lisa have now? So what do we know? Well, we know that Lisa starts out with, and we'll draw a bar for this, 1 2/9 pounds of peaches, and then she buys another 2 1/6 pounds of peaches. So how much does she have altogether? So what you will do is you are going to add the 2 pounds to a bunch of peaches that she bought. So we have 1 2/9 plus the 2 1/6. I'm running out of space here. And then we have the common denominator, which is going to be 18. 6 times 3 is 18, so I must multiply 1 times 3, and that's 3. 9 times 2 is 18, so 2 times 2 is 4. 4 18ths and 3 18ths is 7 18ths. Sorry, I'm squishing this one here. And then 1 plus 2 is 3. So the answer is 3 7/8 pounds of peaches. Sorry about that, I meant 3 7/18 pounds of peaches. This third problem on page 152, this is where it gets to be a little bit tricky. And there's a key word that you're going to use to let you know that, I better draw a bar model to help me out with this. So let's take a look at the problem. Claire took 2 3/4 hours to read a book. Her brother Dan took 2/3 hours less to read his book. How much time did they spend all together reading their books? This is a 2-part problem. So, whenever you see the word more or less, and in this case less, this is going to tell you, hey, I better draw a bar model to help me picture this. So let's take a look at the problem. I'm going to underline some key facts here. Claire took 2 3/4 hours to read a book. So I'm going to represent that in the bar, and I'm going to put a C for Claire. She spent 2 3/4 hours to read a book. Her brother Dan took 2/3 hours less to read his book. So this is Dan. So he read it 2/3 hours less to read his book. So we need to find out, well, gosh, how much time did it take him to read his book? So you've got to picture this using a bar model. 2 2 2/3 2 3/4 is Claire. He read it in less time, 2/3 less time. So how much time did it take him to read his book? How much time did he spend? So I have 2 3/4 hours, and that was Claire's. If I subtract the 2/3 of an hour, that's going to tell me how much time Dan spent reading. So let's do this. I'm sorry, I'm really out of space here. So the denominator, the least common denominator is 12. And 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, and I'm subtracting, remember that. So 9/12 minus 8/12 is 1/12. And then 2 take away nothing is 2. So Dan spent 2 1/12 hours reading his book. So there's my first step. But the final question says, how much time did they spend all together reading their books? So all together means I'm going to add. So I'm going to need to add the 2 3/4 plus the 2 1/12 that Dan read his book. So here's Claire's time, 2 3/4. Again, guys, sorry, I'm running out of room here. 2 3/4 plus the 2 1/12 that Dan read. Common denominator is 12. So 1/12 is the same thing as 1/12. 3/4 is the same thing as 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. 9/12 plus 1/12 is 10/12. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 whole hours, and 10/12 can be simplified. I can divide that by 2. And 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. My whole answer is 4 5 6 hours. Claire and Dan spent 4 5 6 hours all together reading their book. So this is a little bit more complicated. It's a two-step process. And again, if you see the word less or you see the word more in your word problem, it's really a good idea to create a bar model to help you picture what it is you need to solve.